Team.
Hey folks, this is DFW Real Estate Weekly with Todd Tremonti, and as you can tell, not just Todd Tremonti here. We got the English wonder himself, the Yanni Donnie, our very own AI, often agitated Ian, sometimes animated Ian.
Yeah, or you know,
lately.
Yeah, like a really fun Ian.
And also the full price Courtney, the triple C, who
The really fun Courtney,
who doesn't mind a kitchen herself. Now we didn't. We didn't get gumbo.
I don't know what that means.
We didn't get gumbo.
Was that a chauvinistic comment?
No. Why are you so dadgum negative?
Why would it be chauvinistic?
What would happen if you let someone go?
It made me sound like, oh, you belong in the kitchen.
Well, we started with me being in the kitchen.
I decided to be offended.
Just imagine if somebody was just always looking for ways to be offended.
That's our
That's the worst.
That's our court.
Wait, can I tell you?
No, that's not what I was. I was just saying, like in the broader sense, imagine if you were complimenting someone like,
be terrible.
We all love good food here. Let's not let Ian take all the attention with his claims of chef greatness.
I am a good cook.
You also love a good kitchen. And then I was taking a dig like we didn't get.
Courtney's a good cook.
We didn't get Mardi Gras gumbo this year, but
true.
like I have distant memories of
some Mardi Gras food.
It was good.
Guys, all right, folks, This is DFW Real Estate Weekly. We do occasionally speak about real estate, and today we are speaking about real estate in the kitchen sense. Here's the thing. Word that's relatively unfamiliar to we Americans, and the word is scullery. Courtney, when I say scullery,
I think of a pirate ship deck.
That's different.
It is?
That's different.
Or what about scurvy?
That's also different.
Also, and pirates.
Lots of misinformation out there about scurvy, by the way. Not what this episode is about at all. Ian, when I say scullery, what do you picture? Paint me a picture.
Yeah, it's prep kitchen is how I would think of it.
But how does it look? What's in it?
So it's off of the main kitchen. It's gonna be your area, in a kitchen in the hotel world or the just restaurant world.
Or the Highland Park world.
The prep work is done in a separate area from the actual kitchen, right? That's what this is. It is a more commonly known as a prep kitchen. It's an additional area where you're going to do all your prep work so that the actual cooking piece of it takes place in the kitchen.
Now, the reason we're talking about this is because it is, in fact, a trend in higher-end homes, okay? And I don't know that it's a new trend at all, but the reason I opened with the question I did of butler's kitchen, butler's pantry, prep kitchen, scullery is that, all due respect to everybody, you're not going to see these in entry-level homes. You don't have the extra square footage. You're not going to spare the expense to invest in that. In the traditional sense of a butler's kitchen, you would need a butler to use that kitchen. So this is not a common thing in all of our homes, but this is something that we see. You said Highland Park. This is something we see in higher end, larger homes where people are doing a lot of entertaining, where some of the cooking or prep is intended to be like out of eye shot.
Is it sometimes like a catering kitchen? Like that's sort of how I've seen it in the larger homes. It's like
I think
catering in what sense?
Well, for their parties and stuff, it's like a separate.
So the butler's pantry.
That a separate kitchen?
So the butler's pantry is oftentimes where the food is prepared.
Sure.
So you would cook in the kitchen, you would prepare it in the butler's pantry, and then serve it.
Uh-huh.
The scullery is where you would prep your food in order to cook it and then serve it straight from the kitchen.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
I would determine the difference in them based on like the equipment or the kit, what like appliances, whatever are in certain things. So, for example, what I have seen that is a much more achievable trend for a lot of people is just much bigger pantries, right? Like when we built our home recently, we have a countertop in our pantry. One side of it it's a big pantry, but it's just shelves, right? So we have shelves for food. We have a few extra shelves for things like crock pots and stuff that you just don't want on the countertop all the time, but you may not want to have to bend down and lift up. And so they're just more approachable. But then we have a countertop where sometimes that's where like the KitchenAid mixer is. That's where our blender stays. We don't bring it out in the kitchen. I understand how awesome that, I got a good thing going. That's pretty nice. But it's not that. There's not like when I'm thinking of a scullery, it's like there's some ovens and cooking stuff in there where you can get some things fully cooked in there if you really wanted to. So some of this is like we're just mincing words. Is it an extra fancy pantry? Is it for prep? Is it for some of the cooking? Is it to keep the mess out of the main kitchen? Sort of yes to all of that. And you can have your own version of it based on whatever you want. But by definition, the scullery is where food is getting prepared and it's going to be served in the main kitchen or in the dining room or something like that. This doesn't have to be something that only exists in like a 10,000 square foot home, though. Think about your priorities. If food and entertaining and cooking is a big priority for you, some people would rather have this than like a separate dining room or a second living room or a third car garage or something like that. So it doesn't have to be truly insane. It just has to be thought about. And I have seen people convert like in a lot of homes that are built in the Dallas area, there's a kind of a galley kitchen or a mid-sized kitchen. And then right off the kitchen is a formal dining room.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that just aren't using their formal dining rooms that much. And so I have seen people close off the formal dining so it's no longer visible from a living area and convert that to something in this category of extra big pantry, prep kitchen, scullery, butlers, whatever. And so they're just, a lot of the tabletop appliances are in there and they're prepping or they're baking or whatever. They might have a microwave in there. What else are you thinking if you were to envision a scullery in a typical home, Ian?
Yeah, I mean, I think you would have definitely some sort of oven, convect oven. You would have in there for sure. Probably another stovetop. I mean, generally speaking, the kitchen is where you just finish the cooking.
Right. So your mixers, your blenders, some preheating
all
or full cooking heating is back there. And then in your main kitchen is where you're serving.
Yeah.
It's where you're entertaining, maybe. It's where you've got guests that would be in there, but not back in the
Like
scullery.
if I think about what I cook when I cook like a big Sunday lunch or like a big Christmas thing and we're doing it for 20 people, I'll prep cook, par cook most of the food the day before, 2 days before, depending on what it is. And then the day of, it's just to finish it all.
Yeah, it's final assembly or warming or the last part.
And that's all the restaurants and things do a lot of the times as well. That's how they're able to churn out so many covers and so quickly is because they've already
restaurant
par
lingo
cooked stuff.
Covers.
I got
Use
you.
the term covers there. All right, so why does anyone care? Courtney, what do you think? Why does anybody care that we're talking about sculleries and prep kitchens on this here podcast? If I'm a DFW potential home buyer or seller, or I'm just out here enjoying my home, am I ever going to even consider this? Would you dream of having this?
Oh my gosh. I mean, if I'm thinking about building a custom home or thinking about moving to a home on land where there's margin and space to spread out in this way or remodel in this way, I think these kind of ideas and ways that people are using their homes is so interesting.
And I think that's how most people would think about it. They're like, man, I need extra space. And I just want to go back to what I said a minute ago. I think there's a lot of people that have the space for this in their home right now. And for 20 plus years, I've been on a quest to give people permission to use your home however you want. Now, we also give cautions. Like if you want a bizarre, I say bizarre, to you it may feel normal. If you want something that is not generally popular, like a weird entryway indoor fountain, and again, I said weird, you're like, we just love that. I'm like, hey, great, your house, you should do it. But here's what you should know. When you go to sell it, there's not a lot of people that want that. So you might need to take it out later or just know that you probably won't get a return on that, or it might actually end up being a little bit of a negative and costing you some money. Now, if you're telling me you want to make your kitchen or your primary bedroom or your living area or your patio extra cool, I'm telling you most people are going to be into that. So if you, for example, got rid of your formal dining and turned that into a scullery or a butler's pantry or a prep kitchen or whatever, there's a lot of people that are going to be like, dude, that house was incredible. I didn't think that in our normal suburban house budget, we were going to get that. You might lose a small percentage. We're like, no, we're formal dining people and we don't have that now. But you're probably going to gain way more than that in people that are like, whoa, we love kitchens and we never thought we'd get that. You might have a larger pantry that you could convert to a small prep kitchen. You might have a formal dining room. You might have some other room that backs up, an extra bedroom, or a weird little breakfast room that you also had the formal dining. So now you convert the breakfast room. There's a lot of houses that already have the space for this, but they've just never thought about it. And that's why I like an episode like this where we can say, hey, maybe you think about your home that you already have differently, or you're going to go buy a normal 3 or 4 or 5 bedroom home in a neighborhood or on some land that has the square footage, and we can help you dream up a way to use it better. And one way might be, a prep kitchen. When you think about, you just said like, oh, you would dream of this big time, but I don't think you have any plans of moving. But if you could do something like this in the home you already have, how do you think about that? You think about it for just your personal joy, for entertaining, maybe for resale? What are you thinking?
I mean, for me, it would be for personal joy, I think. Like, I think it would make life easier for when we do host a bunch of people. Because I love to cook for our neighbors and have friends, or if I'm going to do like a bunch of, I'll make 60, 70, 80 pounds worth of chili and sauce and stuff, and we'll freeze it and I'll give some away to people that need it and stuff like that. Having the ability to not have to do all of that on my kitchen island would be wonderful, because I'm often using the kitchen island plus another island plus the space next to the sink, so I can keep everything all separated. It's like, man, if I had one space where we could have all that would be incredible.
No, we're aware that this is a very first world conversation where it's
so first world.
Such a burden to use the island and the other island and the space. But listen, that's who we help buy and sell homes in DFW. By the way, that's what we do all day, every day throughout the week with the Todd Tremonti home selling team. But if that's something that gets you fired up, this is just one example of how we help people live out their dreams as best we can in the world of real estate. Do you want 3 acres? Let's help you envision that. Do you want a scullery? Do you want a prep kitchen? Do you want a game room that's not a traditional second living? These are the things that we love to help people dream and experience, whether it's a bit of a remodel, whether it's finding a home that already has that, whether it's an addition, or like Courtney said earlier, is this a custom home scenario? You can do, these are things that sound so posh and out of reach, but really don't have to be at all.
There's also a bunch of people that like to do it, like I like to do it. And, we look for people that they've had a baby or they've had some surgeries or illnesses or whatever that is. And it's like, yeah, I could buy you a meal from somewhere, or I can instead make you 3 or 4 things. You can stick them in the freezer and they're there for the long haul and it's fresh, and it's, I would rather do that. Yeah. Like it's a service opportunity.
So just to bring it back to the scullery, though, you having that space is not just like, I get to tell people I have something unique and cool. It would bring you joy. You get to use it. It would help you entertain, and it's a way you serve. So I guess the reason I'm saying that and slowing down on that is I think there's a lot of people that would be like, of course I would love to have that, but that's unreasonable. And we're saying there's a chance for a relatively small remodel budget, you could convert a large pantry or a formal dining room with some cabinets and some basic countertops, and either moving some appliances from where they are in there or getting some whatever level appliance, meets your needs. All of a sudden you have space that could really transform your life, your generosity, your joy, and those kind of things. So, do whatever you want to do, but we love the idea of a scullery, a butler's kitchen, a butler's pantry, a prep kitchen, a private kitchen, whatever that looks like. You may have something totally different in mind that's not even kitchen related, and we're here to say, look, it's your home. Live your dream out. Use your gifts. Make sure your home is a place of joy, and if you love to serve others in that way, man, set yourself up to do that really well. And if we can ever help you with that, that's what we do at the Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team. Primarily with desirable neighborhood homes and big backyard, small acreage homes on land. And if we can ever help you, just go to toddtremontiteam.com. That's toddtremontiteam.com. When you're there, you're going to see all sorts of vendors we trust, like Patrick Glaros for mortgage and all sorts of other things. And you're also going to see places we've sold homes and ways that we serve people and other trusted vendors and things like that. So check us out at toddtremontiteam.com. We still guarantee to sell your home over the average price and under the average time. And then once you've bought one or sold one, we're here to help you dream this dream. Find a contractor, think about would that fit there, all that good stuff. As you dream your home helping you live the life that you feel called to live or that you're excited to live, let us know. It is an honor for us to earn your trust and help you walk through that season of buying, selling, and the long, long, long season of just enjoying your home. Find us online at toddtremonteteam.com.